Former U.S. President Donald Trump has signaled that he may approve the supply of Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine if Russia refuses to end its war. The statement marks a potentially dramatic shift in U.S. support, raising both hopes in Kyiv and alarm in Moscow. A bold threat with global implications. Donald Trump's latest remarks have reignited global debate over the trajectory of the Ukraine war. Speaking to reporters, he warned that if Russia continues its aggression, the United States could authorize the transfer of Tomahawk long-range missiles to Kyiv through NATO channels. These missiles, capable of striking targets over 1,500 miles away, would give Ukraine unprecedented reach into Russian territory. Trump described the decision as conditional, saying it would depend on Moscow's next moves and Ukraine's assurance that the weapons would be used strictly for military purposes. While emphasizing he seeks peace, Trump said that Russia must understand that the cost of continuing this war will rise dramatically. Ukraine welcomes the signal. In Kyiv, the response was cautiously optimistic. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine would welcome any tool that could help end the war faster and protect civilians. He stressed that Tomahawks would be used only against legitimate military targets, such as command centers, ammunition depots, and logistics hubs supporting Russia's invasion. Ukrainian military analysts have noted that the addition of Tomahawks could shift the tactical landscape, allowing precise strikes deep behind enemy lines. It could disrupt Russia's supply routes and put pressure on Moscow's ability to sustain its offensive operations. Russia's warning and escalation fears. The Kremlin reacted sharply to Trump's statement. Officials in Moscow warned that supplying long-range cruise missiles to Ukraine would represent a new level of escalation. Russia's foreign ministry described the move as direct participation in the conflict by the United States, hinting at potential retaliatory measures. Analysts caution that Tomahawk deployment would blur the line between indirect support and active engagement. Moscow could interpret it as a major provocation, possibly expanding the conflict beyond Ukraine's borders. Russia's strategic forces have already increased alert levels in response to the announcement. Strategic calculations and political risks. Trump's threat serves several purposes beyond military support. It is a strategic signal, a warning to Russia that continued aggression could invite consequences far greater than sanctions or conventional aid. It also reasserts U.S. influence in European security, showing that Washington remains the ultimate power broker in the conflict. However, the decision carries enormous political risks. Critics argue that supplying long-range missiles could drag the United States and NATO deeper into confrontation with a nuclear-armed Russia. Others point out that the U.S. stockpile of Tomahawks is limited and that their transfer would require careful coordination and political approval from allies. Inside the U.S., reactions are divided. Supporters praise Trump for showing strength, while opponents warn that he is playing a dangerous game with global stability. NATO leaders are also split. Some support the idea of arming Ukraine with stronger deterrence, while others fear uncontrollable escalation. A message to Moscow and the world. For now, Trump's statement appears to be a calculated threat rather than an immediate action. But even the possibility of supplying Tomahawks has sent a powerful message to Moscow, that the U.S. is willing to raise the stakes if diplomacy fails. If implemented, the move could redefine the balance of power in the war, giving Ukraine a new edge but also risking a broader confrontation. The world watches closely as both sides weigh the consequences of a decision that could alter the course of the conflict and global security for years to come. Conclusion. Trump's hint at approving Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine may be one of the most consequential policy signals since the war began. It combines deterrence, diplomacy, and brinkmanship in equal measure. Whether it brings peace or pushes the world closer to escalation will depend on how Russia, Ukraine, and the broader international community respond in the days ahead.